Welcome again, listeners. We are back with the second part of the interview with Vice Chancellor of Lalit Narayan Mithila University, Darbhanga, Professor S.K. Singh. Talking with him is Ranadhir Thakur.
To understand any process better in the right perspective, it is very much essential to understand the geographical nature of the area in which that thing is located. Now, do you find any difference between, like, LNMU is located in an area which is predominantly agriculture based, and other universities might be in city or high class cities?
Okay.
So do you find any difference of this geographical location impacting education?
One thing, in the very beginning of my joining as the Vice Chancellor of this university, I did talk to the head of the Department of Management, because management is a professional course. And I was expecting them to prepare an industrial profile of this region and also the economic profile. What are the potentials in this area? So we could come across, and which is known to everybody, it is very obvious that Makhana is there, then the fishery is there, the agriculture is there, and there are certain crops. You can take Sikki arts, Mithila painting. So what we decided to offer at least a certificate program or the diploma program to these students. And we started a certificate program in Sikki, certificate program in Mithila. And since our Makhana Institute is already there, so we decided not to venture into that area because the full-fledged institution is there to take care of. Fishery and the water management we could not undertake because the university doesn't have that kind of expertise, that kind of infrastructure. So what we decided to focus on you can say the Mithila painting, Sikki arts, etc. We decided to save or protect, conserve the heritage of this campus. As you know that a beautiful campus located on, you can say, donated by Maharaja Dhiraja Sahab. Wonderful library we do have. Books dating 400, 500 year backs are available, rare literature available. But no systematic efforts were being made to conserve that. So what we did, we approached to the National Archives of India, submitted a project for the conservation and the digitalization of the Raj Library. We got a project to the tune of 50 lakhs rupees, and we have started working on that. So we are working at two levels, conserving the manuscripts which are, you can almost at the verge of destroy. And second thing, digitalization of that knowledge so that anybody from outside can easily access to that knowledge. So that we are doing. Recently, we have decided to constitute or form a heritage cell with the objective to take care of the old buildings and also the heritage of this institution. In that process, the university did approach to the National Manuscript Mission. And we have got two centers. We have already entered into the MOU with the National Manuscript Mission. One is the Manuscript Documentation Center, and another is the Manuscript Conservation Center. As you know that the rare manuscripts are not available in the library, but they are also available in the families, or you can say the dynasty of the kings, and also there are certain families in the villages who are having very old manuscript, but they are not aware of the worth of that manuscript. So this Manuscript Documentation Center has been given that responsibility. You just contact those people, just prepare a document, what kind of manuscript they are having, and the second stage is the conservation. Then the conservation process would be starting. If suppose the manuscript is on the Bhojpatra or something paper, and it is almost destroying, like vanishing. So that process we have started. So that way we are trying to do something for this region.
So we can say that not only for the students you are conducting lots of extracurricular activities, but university is itself conducting lots of extracurricular activities to promote the brand of education.
Certainly. That is the duty of any academic institution. Any academic institution located in that particular area, it owes certain obligations, certain responsibility towards that area. University is not only meant for assimilation of knowledge, dissemination of knowledge, and creation of knowledge. Creation of knowledge is the most important parameter on which any university is gauged. The knowledge which is being created on the campus must go outside the campus, out of the campus, must reach the masses, must be able to take care of the problems of the masses. So the first and foremost responsibility of the academic institution will be to see the location, where it is located, to take care of the heritage, the cultural heritage, other things, problems, social problems of that area.
And this will have another impact. People will start to believe the institution. They will generate a kind of faith, a kind of interlinking bond, and that will be reflected in the enrollment ratio of the students.
Enrollment ratio, and that will also be helping in stopping the outflow of the student from the state.
Exactly.
Once we gain and win the confidence of the students, look, that university is not only catering to the educational needs of the student, it is also catering to the needs of the social and economic needs of the society.
Rightly said, sir. Now we shall come to the technical education front. It's a very big area. The North Bihar comprises of almost 10 districts. But as far as LNMU is concerned, only 2 technical institutions are there in Darbhanga. One is WIT and one is Darbhanga College of Engineering. And that too, not many courses are there on board. So what initiatives have been taken on this front?
Women's Institute of Technology, which has now been named Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad Women's Institute of Technology. Recently we have done that. So there are only 2 branches available. We wanted to add 2 more branches from 2018-19. But as you know that there is a definite process of adding more branches. We did approach to the All India Council for Technical Education with our application. Certain requirements were to be met, but unfortunately we could not get the approval and the permission of the AICTE. But we are still making the endeavor and hope that next year we shall be able to add 1 or 2 more branches. In addition to IT management program is also one of the professional program. So that is already there for the last 15-20 years. BBA we are running, BCA we are running. We are also running a MSc in biotechnology, which is one of our very emerging areas. So these programs we are running. But there is a definite process, that process we will have to clear. Before starting any kind of program, we will have to seek the approval of the prior approval of the state government. So that we are doing. For certificate program and the diploma program, we don't need any approval from the state government. From the moment we decide to start any degree program, we will have to do that.
We hope it sees the light of the day sometime in near future. An important parameter for a successful institution is how it caters to the student in ways of online education and distance education. What have been the recent initiatives by LNMU on this front, and what are the courses that are in the pipeline that our students of this area can see on online platform and distance education platform?
Now, you rightly said that the online education has become almost essential for any academic institution. The region is two regions. The concern of the government, state government as well as the central government, to increase the gross enrollment ratio. At the national level, the average gross enrollment ratio is around 26-27%. In case of Bihar, it's very poor, 15-16. The first challenge before the Bihar state government is to increase this gross enrollment ratio from 15-16 to 26-27 of national average. It's a big task. Through traditional mode, it will perhaps be very difficult. Either you will have to increase the number of colleges, or you will have to increase the intake to the existing colleges. But the moment you decide to increase the intake of existing colleges, the resource will be coming in the way. Unless the matching resources are provided, the number of only increasing the intake will not serve the purpose, because you will have to comprise with the quality. Increasing the gross enrollment ratio doesn't mean that one will have to compromise, or one should compromise with the quality
of education provided.
So only way is the online. The LL Mithila University has got a Directorate of Distance Education, which is duly approved by the Distance Education Board of University Grants Commission. There we are running 36 different programs at undergraduate level and the postgraduate level. There was a great demand from the people from this area. There must be a program in Maithili at undergraduate and postgraduate level in the distance mode.
In fact, my next question was
so that we have been able to do. We pursued last year and we have got the approval of the Distance Education Board, and now it is running. So we have taken. First time the science courses at postgraduate level have been started. And we could start this course because in the science, the lab work would be needed. And since we have got the Department of Physics, Chemistry, Zoology, Botany, so there the distance education, the Directorate of Distance Education has entered into an agreement with those departments. And those departments have permitted the distance education to make use of their labs. So there will be two-way advantage. The fund which the departments would be getting from the distance education would be used for the development of the labs and the updation of the lab. And second things, the students who are enrolling themselves in the distance education and MSc, they will be getting the real lab with the competent people to look after. So it's a win-win situation for the department and for the distance education. When I joined this university, the number was a little more. So during the last 2 years, we have been able to increase the enrollment almost 2 times. This has been because of the addition of more number of courses, and of course, up to some extent, you can say the better image of this university.
When can we see the new complex of distance education campus coming up?
Construction work is already going on. The money to the tune of almost 4 crore for the new building was transferred to the Bihar Educational Infrastructure Development Board in the beginning of 2017, or you can say before my joining this university. We pursued the matter, but the construction work could not be started. Then the university, the officers of the university, they met the director and the senior officers. So then the work was started. But the land which was located or identified for the purpose, some problems were there in the initial stage. But with the God wishes, now we have come over those problems. The construction work is going on. And as per the assurance of the contractor and the Bihar Infrastructure Development Board, next session, September, October, by that time, the building will be ready. Then the majority of the, you can say, activities will be happening in that building. Still, that building will be with them. For Distance Education Board, 2-3 requirements are very important. One is the, you can say, auditorium. So luckily, the university has a good auditorium, that is the Jubilee Hall. And that hall is being used by the distance education, maintained by the distance education. Everything is being maintained. They also should have a good examination hall. Examination hall we have got. It is in the process of furnishing, you will say. So soon it will be well furnished with CCTV camera. So that is also being taken care of by the distance education board. So infrastructure would be there.
Education is the most powerful weapon that can be used to change the world, said the great leader Nelson Mandela. But that can be achieved only when the students are given an atmosphere where they can be future ready, when they can be made ready for the employment industry. And one great thing in this regard that the universities do is campus placement. And in fact, wards are being sent to good university. The parents take into consideration the amount of campus placement that the university is providing. On this front, what is the role of LNMU in providing good results, or what have been the major initiatives on this front?
Okay, it's a fact that the placement is one of the most important indicators in the rating of any academic institution. Because after all, students is getting education for what? For livelihood. Any kind of education, if it is leading to the placement, good placement, then will be more taker of that program. That is the reason why the most of the students, they are running towards the BTech, the MBBS or the MBA or the MCA, the professional programs. So any academic institution should have a placement facility. And this placement facility should be at 2 levels. One is the preparing the students for the placement, because the course curriculum in itself may not be sufficient for preparing the students for the particular job which he or she is looking for. So they are to be prepared. What we call it, the finishing school. You will have to give some additional input in addition to the syllabus. Only then they will be ready. You will have to invite the employers. Unless the employers come onto your campus and see the quality of the students, the students will not be picked up. So there should be a, you can say, organized effort on the part of academic institution to prepare the students and also to invite the employer from the outside to provide them this placement opportunity. The placement cell has been activated. It is working, and the result is that in MBA and WIT, in comparison to the last 2-3 years, the last year placement has been very good. So it has, you can say, showing some kind of positive result. Again, it will take 2 or 3 years. This process is to be continued with the intensity. Only then the things will happen. The distance education, we have entered into an MOU with the Skill University, Team Lead Skill University. What they are doing, that one ELSP is that Employability Link Skilling Program. That is what the finishing is called. The additional input which should be given to the student to make them employable. So they are picking the students after interview, of course, for some kind of apprenticeship in telecom, apprenticeship in the retail, like that. It will be this apprenticeship will be of 3 years. First year the students will be getting 10,000 rupees per month, second year 11,000, and third year 12,000. And after successful completion of apprenticeship, the student will be trained in a particular trade. It may be IT, it may be telecom, it may be retail management. And after having this kind of expertise, the placement will not be problem. And they will also be facilitated and help in getting the placements, so that they are doing. It is also true that there is a disconnect between what is being taught in the university and what is being really required. So this gap is to be bridged. Gap will be bridged only when the academic institution and the others, you can say industry, they come together. So we have also decided to organize a institute industry interface, so that they come closer and they understand their each other needs and try to fulfill them. Only then this gap will be bridged, or it will be reduced, you can say, to some extent. So the university is working on that area.
In fact, that's a great initiative, sir. One of the important burning topic is the startups, and that should start from the college level, from the university level, to groom students for startup ecosystem. Any take on that by LNMU?
There has always been a, you can say, debate between the job seekers and the job creators. Whether we are nurturing and preparing these students who will be seeking the job, or we are preparing these students who could create the job for others. So creating the job will be perhaps the more wanting things. Even those who are seeking the job, suppose they are joining some organization, good organization, contributing positively, and because of their contribution, if the company is prospering, the business is increasing. So what will happen? If the business is increasing because of the contribution of those intelligent people, the more and more demand would be there, more and more people would be needed. Again, they are also indirectly contributing to the creation of the job. But we are referring to the people who will be directly creating. In that direction also, the university has made very good efforts. It has submitted a proposal to the Department of Industry, Bihar State Government. And the proposal was establishment of an incubation cum entrepreneurship development center. The project worth was 7.62 crore. Principally, it has been agreed by the state government. They have said that 50% would be given by Bihar state government and 50% you will have to arrange from other outside. We are just waiting a letter of that effect. Once we get the letter from the Bihar state government that they have agreed to contribute 50% of this project cost, then for the remaining 50% we shall be approaching to some central funding agency or some other agency. So that is in the pipeline. So
it's very good to prepare things and plan things for future. What are the future plans of LNMU? What new courses is it seeking to start? It has started, in fact. And
one gray area. The universities are known for their creation of knowledge. This is the research. So that is one of the gray areas of the LN Mithila University, and not only of LN Mithila University, but rather most of the universities of Bihar. So we would prefer to work first on that area. For this, the research students, they are the backbone. There are about 1,000 research students pursuing their research in different areas, in the different departments. So first of all, we will have to make the optimal use of those research scholars. Let me accept frankly that we have not been able to utilize their potential. And if the university is able to utilize the potential of those 1000 research students, that will be a great contribution. One of the requirement of submission of PhD is that 2 research paper must be published. Unless a research student publishes 2 research papers out of the work he or she is doing, will not be permitted to supplicate the thesis. And per year, I think 3 to 350 students are getting PhD. 350 multiplied by 2, 700 research papers, they are being written by these students. So if we could focus and ensure that those papers they are quality paper and they are getting published in the good journals, it will be a great contribution to creating that ecosystem, the research ecosystem. So we would prefer to work on that. Instead of adding more and more courses, let the university focus on the research area for which the universities are known.
We all believe education is that thing which can bring change. But the words of wisdom, the words of motivation of a teacher, of a guru, or of his professor are most treasured in life of a student. Any words of wisdom, words of motivation for the students of this area?
If you see the ashram system of education, what was happening? The gurus and the shishya, they were living together 24 hours, and they were not confined, limited only to teaching. Rather, the sishyas, they were also learning how to lead a life. Because one of the purposes of education is to prepare the students to face the challenges of you can say, you may be very knowledgeable, but if you fail to face the challenges of the life, the hard reality of the life, it means the knowledge which you have gained is of no use. So unless this kind of interface, more and more interaction between the student and the teachers, so that kind of bondage will not be built. In order to make the bond stronger and meaningful, this interface is to be increased. Expect from the teachers to spend more and more time with the students. And we also expect from the students that they will be spending most of the time on the campus, interacting with their classmates, interacting with the students from the other discipline. And that is one of the advantages of studying in a university where the multi-faculties are there.
And then some words of motivation for the students from their Vice Chancellor, speaking to them on All India Radio, advising them for their future career, for their future prospects.
Okay, the students with whom we are dealing, they are aging between 18, if I take the research student, also 27, 28 years. This is the most productive age. And their future would be depending upon how they are utilizing this period. I personally can say that it's an investment period. If you are making the right kind of investment, better kind of investment, then you can expect a better returns. So your future will be depending upon this period, so don't lose it. Try to make maximum optimal use of this period. And try to be job ready. Try to be job ready, and not only job ready. The job ready of today may become irrelevant for tomorrow's job. So you will have to keep updated continuously in order to be job ready. Because what is the requirement of the job today, tomorrow, it will be entirely different. So the next job requirement, you will have to get yourself prepared. You have to acquire additional knowledge, additional skill, so as to remain in the stream for the longer period. So my advice and my sincere urge to the students is that it's a golden time. Don't lose it. Your future is entirely dependent upon the way you will be making use of this period. So make best use of this period.
We believe our students will treasure these words of yours in their heart. So it was pleasant having you in our studios. Thank you very much for coming to our studios and sharing your important views on this very important subject. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share some of my reflections, which I have gained through my almost 40 years of association with higher education and with the university system. I shall be very happy if it is communicated and conveys to the students And I'm confident that these students, they are very intelligent people and they are very conscious about their future, and they will get the advantage of this kind of interview.
Thank you, sir.
That was our English program segment special. This program was broadcast from All India Radio, Darbhanga.